Hi, welcome to class. Today's practice will be a standing mobility class focusing on the hips, the glutes and the legs. The props you'll need today is a belt or a dressing gown cord, a tie, a towel, something like that that you can loop around your foot, and a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, hardback books, tins of food, or something sturdy. If you need to lean on something, if you come forward in a forward fold. When you've gathered those, we will begin the class. Standing on the mat, feet are directly underneath the hips, feet facing forward, parallel, shoulders come up to the ears, back and down, palms facing forward, back of the head lined up with the tailbone and with the backs of the heels, chin parallel to the earth, and begin by closing the eyes, centering on the mat, arriving, thanking yourself for coming to class today. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning participant, thank you for coming back. I truly appreciate everybody that practices with me. Maybe focusing on the breath a little bit, slowing it down. A deep inhale and a deep exhale. Letting go of anything on your mind, any tension, any stress, any worry. For the next 20 minutes or so, we will be here together, enjoying our time, getting in tune with our bodies and doing something good for ourselves. Take another breath or so. If you like, you can do an audible exhale. So good for calming the nervous system. And then when you're ready, slowly open the eyes. Wonderful. We'll start sidestepping one side of the mat to the other. You can bring the hands to the hips, warming up the thighs and the glutes with this lateral movement. Shoulders are back and down. Core is on, spine is tall. Then when you come to one side, reach out of the waist for a lateral stretch and coming back. Reach in the left arm and left leg, come back. Right arm, right leg. Oh, it feels so good. If you've done my 30-day challenge, you know that I love this move. This time, we'll come back over, right arm and right leg stretches out. We come back, right arm to left knee for a rotation. We come back and over to the other side. Left arm, left leg. We come back, left arm, right leg. Come back. Coming over again. The stretch, the twist, stretch and back. Stretch, twist, stretch and back. Stretch, twist, stretch and back. Last one. Stretch, twist, stretch and back. This time we'll come to this side. Squat down, arms come out to cactus, and a chair burst where we open the chest to the sky and come back down. Moving across in this little low squat, chair burst, and that. So this is working on spinal flexion and extension. We're only warming up here. It's so good to work the spine in all its different planes of movement. One more each side, and then we'll be all warmed up. Excellent, and then back to the center and shake it all out. Now moving into horse stance, bringing the feet out wide and angle. Knees are facing the same direction as the feet. Sitting down deep into this squat. Hips are stacked underneath the shoulders, bending deep into these legs. Hold here for 5 breaths. This can be a pretty intense move. Mind over matter. Focused breath, tall spine. Core is engaged. Sometimes if you lift the toes up, you really feel the connection of the feet with the earth, and it activates all this midsection. One more breath or so here, you can do it. And then inhale, straighten up for relief. This time sitting down into the horse. Arms come up overhead, rotating the body over to the left, sweeping around and down and up the other side. Back in this other direction. So that's one. Again, over to the left, up the right side, and then back to the right. That's two. We've got three more of these. So one in each direction. That's three. Two more. Sitting deep. See if you can hold this horse the whole time without standing up. I'm sure you can do it. Last one. And then back round, back to the center, and we stand up and shake it out. Okay, back into horse. This time, coming down into the squat, sitting deep, the arms come up. We rotate around to the left, sweeping around, then as you come down and come up to the right, rotating on the feet and ending up in a high lunge. So your right leg should be forward, then coming back down through the horse and over to the other side. So we're moving from high lunge through a horse sweep to high lunge the other side. Being mindful of the body now, how it's moving in space. Sitting deep into that lunge, knee stacked over ankle. And you'll find as you're moving through, the direction of the feet change. Probably it happens very naturally. You don't really have to think about it. A couple more of these. This is great for the strength of the thighs and the glutes, and also opening the hip joint as we're rotating through the different angles of the hip. Come back round, then one more back the other way to where we began. Back to the center and release, shake it out. Excellent, well done. Standing at the center of the mat, equal weight in both feet. Bringing the hands to the hips. So work on some balance and some movement through the hip joint. Grounding down into the right foot, zipping up through this midline, activating your perineum, the root log, giving you all the stability in this area. Left foot points forward, comes to the side, and then to the back, to the side, to the front. Four more of these, touching down in between. So touching down to the side, touching down to the back, tops of the toes, to the side, to the front. Three more. Really stabilizing this standing leg to hold you, stabilizing the core to keep you upright. Two more, I believe. And then last one. That fixed gazing point always helps here. And release over to the other side, pointing the right foot, zipping up through the midline, tall spine, shoulders are down the back, to the side, to the back, to the side, to the front. That's one. Two. Three, 4, whoops, and 5. Wonderful. Shaking it out. Stepping a little bit further. This time we'll hover it, pointing the left foot out in front, lifting up off the floor and sweeping round, going through the whole of the angle of the hip joint to the back and then to the front. Try and keep it up for all 5. That's 1. So it involves a little bit of concentration. 2, I'm going to look at the wall in front of me. 3, always find the moment I talk about balancing, I fall over. 4, 1 more. And 5, wonderful. Side B, right foot extends, zipping up, hands to hips, fixed gazing point, leg lifts, legs engaged, standing legs engaged, sucking into the midline, and we sweep round. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And release. Well done. Okay, next the hands come behind the head. Externally rotate this left leg, bringing it up level with the hips, really grounding into this standing leg, knee to elbow, back up and down. 5 each side. So this is number 2. When we come off balance to the side, it's really activating the core, helps all those little stabilizing muscles. 2 more. Last one. And release. Side B. Right leg comes out, hands behind the head, externally rotate this thigh, knee comes up level with the hip, then elbow to knee, stand up, release down. 2, 3, one side might be easier than the other. 4, and 5. Well done. Shake it out. This is where you may need your belt. We will work through a series of balancing poses with the leg extended and with a bind. If it is within your flexibility, you may take the peace fingers. Sorry, I should have done it that way. Grab the big toe. Hang on. Center and focus. Grab the big toe through the inside of the leg and extend out. If that is not within your reach, grabbing your belt, looping it around the ball of the foot, you can do it that way. So either way is acceptable. Depends on the openness of the hamstrings, blah, 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 and the length of your arm as well. Okay, settling down, centering, hands to hips, grounding down into the right foot, getting that stable connection with the earth, zipping up the midline, activating the core, shoulders are down, hands to hips, bring the left knee up to the chest. If you're using the fingers, reach inside around the big toe mound, otherwise you hook around the ball of the foot. You can stay here or extend the legs straight in front of you. Holding here, breathing deep, focus in the mind, focus in the eyes. Then slowly start to open out to the side. You can extend the other arm out for balance. Back to the midline. Holding here. Maybe letting go. Hands come up. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Wow, the burn in my quad. Shake it out. And we'll do the other side. Rounding down into the left foot, getting that stable base, really spreading the toes, zipping up through the midline. Hands to hips. Starting to put all the weight into this left foot. Wipe away any sweat. Bringing the right knee into the chest. Get that fixed gazing point. Get your bind, whether it's with the fingers or with the belt. And then when you're ready, maybe extending this leg out in front. Focusing the eyes on something that's not moving. Activating the perineum, the root lock, stability. And then when you're ready, maybe opening out to the side. The other arm can come out for balance. Oh, I lost it. And then back to the middle. Release, hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And release down. Wow, my thighs are really burning. I did a big leg section yesterday and I felt the burn. Okay, wonderful. We'll now work on the back of the leg with some balancing and strengthening work, and then we'll come into the final posture. I will turn to the side so you can see, grounding down into this left foot. Hands come to the hips. The right leg goes behind, come onto the ball of the foot, zipping up through the midline, activating that root lock. Leaning forward from the hip crease slightly. You can put a slight bend in the standing leg. We'll do 10 leg lifts with this back leg straight and strong, fully engaged. Pointing the toe. 1, 2, really hug into the midline for balance. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lifting from the inner thigh. 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Other side, this time grounding down into the right foot. Left leg extends behind, zipping up, folding forward from the hip crease, slight bend in that standing leg. Whole of the back body is engaged, zipping up through the front, and we lift for 10. That's 1. Imagine that you're lifting from the inner thigh. 3, 4, not worrying about how high you get it. 5, 6, 7, so this is the extension of the hip. 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Okay, last posture. This is where you might need your blocks and you might need your belt. I will just demonstrate it first of all to show you. Feet are under hips. We'll be folding forward, taking hold of the peace fingers around the big toe or the belt. The other hand comes to the floor or to a block. And we're lifting the leg out to the side. Okay, choose the version you want to do. Start centered, facing forward, equal weight in both feet. Lengthening out of the spine, maybe a little bend in the hips. And we fold forward over the legs. Hand can come down to a block or to the floor. Getting the bind around the foot. Starting to pour all the way into this right leg. Zipping up the midline. Lifting this left foot off the floor. So I like to imagine that the femur bone is sucking up into the hip joint. And then very slowly lifting out to the side. And we'll hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And gently release back down. Put a slight bend in the knees, engage the front spine and come up. Shake it out. So you may have felt a lot of burning in the hip joint. I know I did. I don't think that ever goes away, no matter how many times you do this. Other side. Centering, focusing, grounding down into that left foot. Lengthening out of the waist, tipping forward from the hip crease, coming down to either the floor or to a block, whatever feels good for you. Getting the bind, or remember, you can use the belt around the foot. Focus in the mind, zipping up through the midline, activating that root lock, and sucking this femur bone up into the hip joint, and we open out to the side for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And release back down. Bend the knees, come all the way back up, shake it out. And we'll just finish with a couple of hip circles in the joint. Imagining you got that paintbrush on this left knee, 5 in one direction. Get rid of any stickiness and tension from the class. 5 the other way. A lot of clicking going on today in my hip. I think that's 5. And the other side, bringing the knee up, paint in a circle. Whoops. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and back the other way. Gosh, very wobbly. Wonderful, shaking it out, grounding their feet underneath the hips, inhale both arms up to the sky, take a full body stretch, palms to the heavens above. Bring prayer down the midline. Well done, you did excellent today. If you want to practice this, I can't even remember what it's called. The advanced version is having your fingers around this foot and around this one and coming out like that. It's pretty difficult. I haven't practiced it for a long time. Maybe I'll have a little practice and put it in one of the next few classes. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again soon for another mobility class in my beautiful jungle garden. Have a good day. Thank you.